Welcome to My Long Island TV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. My Long Island TV starts now.
Please welcome the legendary Norman Lear.
When anybody talks about the greatest TV producer ever, they always mean Norman Lear. And Norman has picked out an exclusive program of 3 of his favorite episodes from his best sitcoms. And Norman also has a new book out, a memoir called Even This I Get to Experience. Now, Norman Lear is a master writer, so that means his book is going to be fantastic to read, and it grabs you right from the start.
When I started in television, the golden age was the Paddy Chayefsky age in the 1950s. Now again, I'm asked all the time, wasn't the 70s the golden age? And as I'm asked, I'm thinking, when was television greater than it is right now?
Oh, I get it now. This here swastika belongs to Bloom. Oh, geez, I feel a lot better about that.
What was your rationale behind putting these shows together? What were you looking for?
Ever since I was a kid, I understood that when people care, when they're involved in a plot and their, laughter, the means for laughter are provided, they will laugh harder. And we simply mined our lives, what was going on with our kids and the climate and culture around us.
We used to wait for All in the Family, and the frankness of it all. It kind of slapped you in the face with situations that weren't per se commonly discussed, yet there it was, right on TV, and it was great.
His shows are just really good.
Songs that made the hit parade.
A show like All in the Family, do you think that a show of that nature would succeed today?
I think it would work. The question is, would it get on? All the showrunners tell me they don't think it would get on, and they can't go near a number of the subjects that we treated.
He was reading from his new book, and the first chapter he was reading was fascinating, very moving, very touching, and you could see why he went to the field he did.
I was just past my 9th birthday. My father had been brought down before my eyes from a 10 to a 0. My mother and sister were about to disappear from my daily life. My own identity was no more than a thin bit of fabric in my fist, and I was looking up into the face of this fatuous ass telling me that I was the man of the house now.
At what point did you say, I need to put my life on paper?
It was a little over 20 years ago when I knew I was going to write a book, and I started making notes, and people around me started collecting things and going through the old files, and a storage company that had 300 cases of materials and so forth. And everybody was combing through everything, collecting things for me. I was making my own notes. And it was about 6 years ago that I actually sat down to write.
What is it that you want your fans to know about you?
The message I would like to pass on is that we all matter.
I still think you're wrong. Because this only gets you this.
I thought he was amazingly authentic, which is very much like his work, because he just talks about real life, and you get the notion that he really enjoyed real life always, and he does still. And he brought that to his work. I mean, you just felt it in everything that he did.
Yeah, this is Archie Bunker, 704 Howard Street.
I wrote Archie Bunker, but he inhabited it. I never imagined the Archie I had, because who could imagine what he would do with it? Yeah. We had a very difficult relationship, but it couldn't have been more fruitful. When he passed, I hadn't seen him in some little while, and I went to the house to see his wife Nancy afterwards, and she took me into his study, which was locked, and she unlocked it and took me into his study. And he had a clean desk, but for one letter. And it was a letter I had written to him about 3 or 4 years before, in which I told him how much I adored his Archie and how much I regretted the difficulty we were having as two creative individuals. And there wasn't anything but that letter on his desk, and she said that's the way it was. It had never left his desk. And I wept.
What would your advice be to those writers out there now who are trying, in all this clutter, to stand out?
Right. And then the only thing I would add to that is write out of conviction.
All right.
If you believe it, the other guy is likely to believe it too.